had signed up on Facebook and all that. And then when I got home, it's the first thing. It was really cool. It was 2008.
Okay.
And she was like, you need to join this thing.
Yes.
called Facebook. So
I
she helped
remember
me
these
create
days.
an email address.
Oh gosh.
And then
Yahoo.
so that Gmail.
Gmail. Okay.
A Gmail. So that I could create my Facebook account. And I had gone to midterm knowing I wanted to be an architect.
Wow, really? That's so interesting.
Yeah, so I think that's something we probably have in common. I studied art and design even in high school all through to Form 4.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So I went home knowing I wanted to be an architect. By the time I went back to school,
Yes.
I was trying to figure out what do you study to be able to build something like Facebook.
Hello, champions. Welcome back to another episode. For the past few weeks, Tesh and I have been able to interview some of the greatest entrepreneurs in our country and just follow their journey in how they've been able to build leading e-commerce brands in Kenya and Africa at large. Today, we're joined by a very special guest, a very close friend of mine, a co-founder and a business partner, none other than Tesh. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Feels weird to be this
feels I know. I was just thinking, how are we going to introduce you? And I was able to compile a list of like who Tesh is from what I could find online. After this, maybe you can tell us who Tesh is. But you can see Tesh here, co-founder of both MarketForce and Chpter. We're able to lead MarketForce to acquire over 270,000 merchants across Africa, active in 5 markets. You're an adventure seeker, previously a co-founder at Cloud9 XP, which exited to HotelOnline in 2020. You're also the partner at Missi and also an early stage investor for, to me, around 15 companies.
Yeah, so far they're bought.
Yeah, then you're a creative director. You had Tesh Q as you're a graphic designer there.
Yeah.
Then you have some really dope loc leads here like Forbes Africa 30 under 30, Choiseul 100 Africa Laureate, Business Daily Kenya top 40 under 40 men, CIO Africa top 45 most influential men in digital transformation, top 10 Africa Business Heroes, actually top 3 or top 2.
Yeah.
You're a Harambean. You're part of the Eric Smith Futures Fellows. You're part of the Westerwell Foundation, part of the Alibaba Foundation. You're also a UN Fellow. And of course, you graduated. You have a degree.
Salute.
I know. So really, really impressive. It's really dope to have you here today.
Thank you.
So after saying all that, who can you say Tesh is?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'd say Tesh is a young Kenyan who loves life. Super proud Kenyan, actually.
Mhm.
Proud African.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
So I love football a lot. And I love technology and I love entrepreneurship. And that's why I co-founded a number of businesses.
Yes.
So I just love the potential of entrepreneurship on the continent. So that's, I'd say, keeps me going every day. And probably most important is I'm a friend to many, a brother to 2. I'm a father of 2 lovely boys, and I'm a husband.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. I think one of the best summaries you've seen of like who are you? So that's really, really cool. So
Yeah.
I think would be nice to begin from around your teenage years. Like I wonder how many people are born and they say they're going to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right. So like just in your teenage years around high school, if you can walk us through that, like how was that period like for you? Were hints of entrepreneurship inside you from that early on?
Yeah, so The way they say like entrepreneurship is a bug, I really believe that. I just feel like the environment pushes you to explore it in one or another. For some, it may be like losing a job and then you're forced to explore that side of you. For me, it's an aha moment that came really early in my life. It happened when I was in high school. So just to give background, my mom was always an entrepreneur. So she ran a law firm for many years and she's been an entrepreneur her whole life. And I think that sort of subconsciously showed me that entrepreneurship could be a career. So as much as she was a lawyer, like running a firm means, because I believe entrepreneurship it's a running a business, but a business could be anything.
I see.
I look at the world and I just see businesses everywhere. You could be manufacturing this seat or this pillow or this microphone or this machine or offering a service. So that just showed me that you could be what they call your own boss.
Yes.
Run your own thing, run your own business. But one day I went home for midterm, and I've told this story many times. And I was introduced to Facebook.
I see.
Through my cousin who had just graduated from high school. And she had signed up on Facebook and all that. And then when I got home, it's the first thing. It was really cool. It was 2008.
Okay.
And she was like, you need to join this thing.
Yes.
So she helped me create an email address.
Oh, gosh.
And then
Yahoo.
so that, Gmail.
Okay.
A Gmail. So that I could create my Facebook account. And I had gone to midterm knowing I wanted to be an architect.
Wow, really?
That's
so interesting.
So I think that's something we probably have in common. I studied art and design even in high school all through to Form 4.
Oh, damn, okay.
So I went home knowing I wanted to be an architect. By the time I went back to school, I was trying to figure out what do you study to be able to build something like Facebook. So at that point, I knew I wanted to study software engineering or computer science.
Oh, gosh.
And that was a life-changing weekend for me.
I see. And you remember it so clearly. So what did you see when, you created a Facebook account, probably like it was liking a friend, or like sent a friend request or something. What did you see that weekend?
I think the creative side of me really woke up from a technology sense, because my mind started thinking, instead of thinking about, okay, how am I going to add new friends, and just take advantage of the platform, I started thinking, like, who built this?
Yes.
Because my creative mind is used to building things, creating things, whether it's a painting or a drawing. So I saw that software as a creation.
Yes.
And I got very curious about technology and other platforms like Facebook. So I started digging deeper into like even Google, who built Google, into Microsoft. And then now learning that, okay, actually the person who built Microsoft is the richest person in the world.
Oh,
at that time.
Was like another
okay, so you build this thing and then what happens? How do you... So I just started going down that rabbit hole of how technology businesses are built. And then I knew that I wanted to create wealth, create impact. The rest is history.
Is
That's
history.
how it started.
My gosh. And do you remember, like, were you in high school this time? Or you just finished?
I was in high school. At that point, I was in high school. I was in Form 2.
Okay.
But then, even going into Form 3, it influenced what I picked as subjects. For example, I passed biology. I think I got maybe a 90.
Yeah.
But I still dropped it.
Wow.
In fact, I remember my high school teacher for that subject was really mad, because I was the best student in bio.
But
I was the best student in history, but I dropped all of them.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I don't need this stuff. I just want everything that will get me into a computer science class.
My gosh.
That was like physics and math. And that was my destiny, I guess.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So you continued exploring. You found out there's more companies like Facebook, there's Microsoft.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you joined Instagram?
Yes, I remember. I think I joined Instagram in 2012
Mm-hmm.
or 2011. I was a
Mhm.
first year or second year student
Mhm.
thereabout. What I remember more clearly is actually so immediately I graduated,
Uh-huh.
I just asked my dad for one thing.
Okay.
I asked him for a laptop because
Oh my
I
gosh.
wanted to start like
Yes.
coding
Okay.
and
Okay.
all that,
Mm-hmm.
which he graciously got for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've been lucky because they've been super supportive
Mhm.
of the idea of what I wanted to study
Yeah.
and just my entrepreneurial path. They didn't push me into trying to find a job and all that. So I got a laptop
Okay.
and then I taught myself graphic design,
Okay.
web design. So just the whole creativity thing. And I started thinking, what's the intersection of creativity and
I
tech?
see.
So that's, I learned Photoshop and Illustrator.
Yes.
And then on the business front,
Mhm.
I started talking to potential customers. Can I
Okay.
design your logo? Can I
Oh,
design
I
your business
see.
card?
I see.
And yeah, I guess just one step informed the next step. So
I
once I
see.
learned how to design a business card, for
Mhm.
example, or a flyer,
Mhm.
the restaurant or the customer, whichever kind of
Yeah.
customer it was, would ask me, okay, where can you print this for me?
Yes. Yes.
That's how I ended up in River Road.
Oh my gosh.
Which is a whole other story.
It's a whole other story, which
I-
we'll get there. Actually, before we even continue,
Yeah.
this is like you after high school.
Yeah.
And so you have this laptop and you're like kind of like getting all these skills, Photoshop, web design, etc. So like, how were you teaching yourself that time?
So mostly YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I enrolled to this school. So I did IAT, which a lot of us did when we finished school.
There's one, I think I'm immobilis. Is this that one?
I don't know why they call it driving license.
Yeah,
Like
it's international driving license.
ICDL.
ICDL, yes.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I enrolled for a course in Graffin's College.
Okay.
This is
okay.
before now getting into
Uni.
university. I just wanted to further my skills, but then I got really bored of the class because I realized like I was ahead of what he was teaching. I felt like they were teaching so basic stuff around graphic and web design. I already knew the stuff, so I didn't even finish.
Oh my gosh! But you'd gotten the skills.
But I'd gotten. I realized I don't need school. Let me just self-teach. And that's when I registered my first business.
Okay.
It's between clearing high school and the next year, August, when I was meant to start computer science at UON, the university, is when I registered Tesh Tech.
Oh,
as
Tesh
a
Tech.
company. So
That's a cool name.
Tesh Technologies.
Tesh Technologies. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I had customers by the time. I would pitch shamelessly everywhere, like even in church.
Oh my gosh.
Ask, okay, what does that guy do? Then I'd go and pitch them. Does your company need a graphic designer? I'd say that was my first serious business.
You made your community your early customers.
Yes.
Do you remember like your first sort of like 1,000 shillings or like your first 10,000 shillings equivalent of like your first $100 from Tesh Tech?
Can I remember? I did a lot of jobs. Maybe one that stands out is actually the church. The church was my customer.
Okay.
So I went to the admin of the church and asked them, okay, can I design these bulletins that you guys give and everything? And they gave me business.
Okay.
In fact, I even got the opportunity to build the church website.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Before even starting.
So Tesh Tech, this is year one.
Wow.
I think by maybe this was 2011 because I finished high school in 2010. And I remember that web design gig, I was paid, I think 80,000 shillings to build a website.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
that's the first check that I really.
Oh my
obviously,
gosh.
the first check and your first million.
Yeah.
You always remember.
You always remember.
Yeah.
So you saw like there's a future in this.
Yes, definitely. I mean, to be honest, going into by the time I did my first month or two in campus, my parents helped me get a house. It was an SQ.
Okay.
So that because I grew up in Ngong. So I didn't like the whole commute and everything. So I got a small house. I think the rent was like 10K a month.
Okay.
But I remember by the second month, I told them I don't need you guys to pay my rent anymore. So I was just hustling.
Oh my gosh.
At least to pay my rent, to food my bills. Yeah.
And how long did you run TeshQ for?
Tesh Tech, I ran it so the other big milestone is when I got these initial gigs. I set up a shop in town.
Okay.
On Moy Avenue. Okay. I was in first year. I got a stall.
Hey, but the confidence to have a shop in Moy Avenue in first year, that's just crazy.
You know, yeah, what I realized is all these people who needed me to print, because these companies, they always had somebody who does the graphics and then does the printing. I was like, why can't I do all of it? So I went to River Road or downtown to find where these things are normally done, where this printing happens. Because it's cheapest then you put a markup. Maybe you print a business card. Then it was like 2 shillings to print a business card. And I would sell at like 8 or 10 shillings per business card. So the margins were pretty good.
Yes.
So then I realized, okay, if this guy, I'm paying him 2 shillings, what is his cost? Maybe his cost is 50 cents.
Oh my gosh, okay.
So I actually did a business plan.
Okay.
Presented it to my dad.
Okay.
And mom. And I had saved quite some money.
Okay.
So I think it was on like a nice commercial printer I needed to buy so that I can start printing the cards myself.
So you make like maybe you take your margin from 60% to like 80.
Like 80%.
Okay.
Yeah. So I set up the stall, and also there was a lot of foot traffic. I realized there's an opportunity here for printing. So set up the shop and now started printing the stuff myself.
Oh gosh.
And I get a job, I print it myself. Yeah.
So 2 things from that, like silly question, but this is for maybe guys in the audience who even want to start their first business. Like, why did you feel like a business plan was important? And you made one and showed it to your parents?
A business plan? Yeah, this is funny because literally I think after getting the money I needed to buy the printer, I tossed the business plan in the trash, which is what I've done for all the businesses. I feel like a business plan helps you structure your thoughts and your business and figure whether it makes business sense. Right? Like if I buy this printer for 100,000, how am I going to recoup the 100,000 and make money? So a business plan was a great way to make sense of it, but also like my mom, for example, she's been an entrepreneur. So if you're going to sell a business idea to her, it needs to make sense.
To make sense.
So where's the math? You know, how are you gonna make money?
Yeah.
So in that sense, I needed the business plan as well.
I see.
And even today, if we're raising funding like we've done, for example, for Chapter, no investor will give you money with just a plan, with just a story without a business plan, right? So it's important if you're looking to, even if you go to the bank and you want a loan, they'll ask for a business plan.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only importance of after that.
Sort of like to communicate your thoughts and even structure them so that you actually know whether this thing is going to work or not before you show it to someone else.
Yes.
So I can see this is something that began way like 10 years even before getting here.
Yeah.
So
I was 18, it's like 12 years ago.
12 years. Oh my gosh. That's insane.
Yeah.
So this is Tesh Tech. Let's say now you're in second year, you have the shop. I remember there's a time we were having a conversation and you mentioned you scaled that business and it was giving you something like between $1 million to like 2 million like a month, something like that. Just walk us through how you're able to do that. Were you alone? Did you get other people to join the team? Like, how was that journey like? Yeah. And keep in mind, you're still doing now computer science in school.
I missed a lot of classes. I think I'm lucky I was in UAN. If I was in another uni, I'd probably not have graduated ever. But that's a good segue to the next business, which we started that's in second year with Mesongo.
Okay.
But so what I did is when I set up the shop, I needed somebody to run the shop when I'm away because I couldn't sit there and I needed to do class. So I hired my first person.
Okay.
Immediately I set up the shop. I looked for a person who was a graphic designer.
Okay.
So people would walk in and get some help. And then they would also be the ones who I realized they had to close the shop many times to go sell sometimes and stuff like that. So I had a second person so that the shop was always
open.
So I remember in the early days, year 1, 2, I had between 2 and 3 employees.
Okay.
And then I would go to the shop every evening after class, and we'd close really late at like 8 or 9 p.m. I'd do the books. I had a counter book where I would do, we write all the clients who came in today. And we used to make revenues of between $1 million and $2 million every month.
Revenue, yeah.
But after costs and everything, at least I used to make something.
That many second years are not making.
That many second years are not making. So funny thing, actually, I remember within the first year or so, I had saved up like 1 million shillings from the business, and I squandered it all.
The first year. My
so
goodness.
What I did.
So you made your first million, you're like 20 or 21.
Yeah, I was like 20.
Wow.
In fact, there's I remember the first single million check. Maybe it was in the second day of the business.
Wow.
Like we got a job.
Wow.
Worth over $1 million. Obviously the margin was maybe 20% of that. But that's a check I remember
like
vividly.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a big day. But I won't lie, like I really enjoyed life as a student.
Okay.
Because I could afford nice things,
And you're working for them, actually.
Yeah, and
you
I was
made
working
the business.
hard. I used to work really, really hard. Up to 9 p.m. every day, balancing. Sometimes I'd wake up early, go to the shop even before I go to class. And computer science is a hard course, so it was also a lot of work. So I hardly slept, trying to keep up with school, study for cuts, and all that. And then in second year, so remember this whole graphic thing wasn't my end goal.
Yes.
I wanted to build a Facebook.
Yes.
I still do even now.
Yeah, back to the aha moment when you were in high school.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, now we've gained some experience in designing software from the courses we're learning now in school.
Okay.
So it was a practical course for me.
I see.
We decided let's set up a software company. So that's how Choiseul was born.
I see.
Yeah, so the idea is we're not just building websites, we're building like software systems that can do stuff. And that's where even the idea of building scalable businesses was starting now to come alive. That was second year, and we ran that business through to end of campus now together.
Okay.
I remember in third year, not going to third year, we got an apartment that now doubled up as
your office.
Our office, because we had started getting now bigger gigs for building web applications as Missi. So that was a fun time.
Yeah.
We hardly slept because we used to have school during the day, and then at night we'd be delivering on client projects.
I see.
Then sometimes you need to see the clients in face to face. Sometimes you need to pitch. So we did we learned so much during that time.
Yeah. And Missi is an interesting name. Do you remember why you chose to call the company Missi?
Yeah, so it's funny that it was actually my co-founder. It's called Mesongo. So I don't know why somebody called him Missi. And then we ended up creating we realized like there's a period in the long time ago called the Mesozoic era, for those who are fans of history. And what happened during the Mesozoic era is it was a period of rapid changes in the environment. Like you've heard of flora and fauna.
Yes.
That was just like the time there was dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And things were just evolving really
very quickly.
And we felt like that's where we are in life.
I see.
There's just a lot of technology innovation happening quickly. So it made sense to call a company that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Super, super interesting. This is like it's around 2013 now, 2013, 2014.
This is 2014. We graduated in 2015.
Okay.
But by the time we graduated, one of the things was funny. We actually did an internship for school in our company.
In your own company. Oh,
and then when we graduated, like we went straight into like just doing business full time.
Wow.
But now we're doing bigger software consulting projects. I remember we got, for example, in 2016, we did a big project for one of the parastatals, and we got it through pure like just tendering process.
Wow.
We were doing software for some of the large companies, like one of the larger fintechs. I won't mention the name, but we did a project to digitize their workforce across like 5 countries.
Wow.
It was a big project. So things were really now starting to take off.
I see.
It wasn't all success.
Yeah.
I talked about, I squandered like a lot of money I'd saved earlier by starting a new business. So what we did.
How did you squander?
So it wasn't really squandering, but
like how?
It's funny thing with Eugene last week told us about the project that he did. Like he invested in a club and all that, like it just didn't work out. It was similar.
Oh, really?
So we were like, okay, let's diversify. So we set up a movie store.
I see. Okay.
We set up a movie store, invested all that money into it.
Gosh.
And the business didn't even last 6 months.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. So what can you do? Do you remember the name of the movie store?
Yeah, it was called Cloud9.
Oh, Cloud9. And what? No, okay. And what? Why wasn't that business successful?
It wasn't successful like in hindsight, because we hadn't done market research.
Okay.
So this is the time when banning CDs.
Yes,
when
I remember.
Go and ban your favorite series and then go watch it at home.
Yeah.
This is the time when the shift was happening.
Yeah.
From using DVDs to streaming.
Yeah, and Wi-Fi was becoming more available.
Exactly.
Yes, okay.
So we just did a copycat kind of business where we saw, okay, there's so many, this business must be interesting because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And then you set up the same thing. I see that happening a lot now with, this many shopping centers.
Yeah.
There's so many like car washes wines and spirits.
It's true.
I mean, they could be making money. I don't know. Maybe they've done the research, but I feel like you just deployed the same strategy.
Oh my gosh. And then the Mesozoic era happened to you.
You were disrupted.
You were disrupted.
Yeah. So it just,
Wow. That's really interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
And I remember 2013 and 2014, it was around that time, I think I used Uber and Airbnb for the first time. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. 2013, 2014.
Yes.
Like
sense.
Uber and Airbnb started coming.
Yeah.
And like, it was just an insane moment just seeing what technology can do.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious if you can remember that time from using Facebook like 3 or 4 years before to now here is like Airbnb, Uber that's coming along. You have Missi going. Like, what were you able to see that time?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that was very clear to me, I remember using Uber. Actually, I was one of the early adopters. I was in campus. And there were local companies that were trying to do the same thing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Probably remember some of the, like there was Easy Taxi, I think.
I think I remember that one. Yeah.
But then that's when I started just becoming aware of what it takes to build a technology business that can compete at scale. I think the other thing that I became very aware of is how important it is to find mentors who, and when people think about mentorship, they think about, they reach out to you, Mark, can you mentor me?
Yeah.
And they don't even have a business idea or anything. They just want you to.
Yeah.
But how I view mentorship is just the same way I viewed learning. We live in the information age. Like if you want to know Tesh's story, like it's online, right? It's the same thing for those entrepreneurs I really admired at that time.
Okay.
I was looking at business like Cellulant, 7 Seas Technologies, Jumbo Pay. So I started investing a lot of time learning from the stories of those
entrepreneurs and those businesses
on how to build a business. So I feel like those guys, some of them I don't even know them personally, but they're my mentors.
Yes.
You know, that's the approach I've taken to learning. And that just from that period of Uber, using Uber and Facebook and all those, I started taking very seriously just understanding those guys' stories.
I see.
So that I could figure what can I pick from them and
so that I can
in
build
my own journey to build. Yeah.
Wow, that's super cool. And speaking of mentors, I've also noticed now you're an avid reader.
Yeah.
Right? Even one of your favorite authors is Jim Collins.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious, that time as well, Missi, you're getting all these big clients.
Yeah.
You're deploying a solution to, like one customer is in over 5 countries. Like, is there any book you're reading at that time or a book you can remember that had a profound effect on you from that period?
Yes. So I feel like I've had favorite books for every season.
Okay.
Because I also believe this journey of entrepreneurship, like there are different phases to it, and each phase requires a different lesson. We talked about this a lot, like what gets you to make your first million isn't what will get you to make your first 100 million.
Yes.
What it takes to manage or to hire your first team of 2 or 3 people isn't what it takes to manage 20 people or to manage 100 people. So that's anytime I'm reading, that's sort of the lens I have.
I see.
Of, is this book relevant in this season?
Yeah.
So at that point, I read very interesting books. Like one I loved really a lot was Platform Revolution.
Platform Revolution. Wow. Okay.
Platform Revolution. I can't remember the author, but it talks about what it takes to build a two-sided marketplace.
Okay.
And I was obsessed with marketplaces at that point. In fact, that's one of the things that led us to start Cloud9.
Okay.
Because Uber is a two-sided marketplace.
Yeah.
Facebook is a two-sided marketplace. You need the creators of content, consumers of content. You know, in Uber, you need drivers, you need people. In Amazon,
drivers
the same. You need suppliers of the product, you need consumers. So because, in fact, if you think about a lot of the businesses started prior to Chapter, there were marketplaces.
I see.
So that's one book that really, like, it's like a crash course to building a two-sided marketplace, and really even influenced our journey with Cloud9.
I see.
Which is the business we built after Missi. Yeah, but I think it's important I mention one of the big failures while building Missi was right before, like during that phase, we tried to build a product for procurement automation that failed really badly. I think I mentioned it.
Eventually it had a very nice name.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah. So before you mentioned the failure, like what was a unique insight into building this like business, and then you can walk us through how it went and what you learned from it.
Yeah, so it is a personal experience in trying to find software consulting jobs.
Okay.
So we used to get newspapers, look for tenders that are specific to our thing, which is software development.
Okay.
And yes, every week you'd find a tender, but the application process was so hectic.
Yes, I can imagine.
Like you'd need to fill loads of documents and then deliver the documents to a certain office, be there when they're opening.
Wow.
And sometimes this meant traveling, like this tender is maybe Mombasa water. So you have to go to Mombasa, literally.
Wow.
On that Monday at 10 a.m. be in Mombasa to deliver the documents and then chill till the opening. So all of you suppliers are there when they open. So I just felt that process was just too crude.
Laborious,
just laborious. So, and that's how the idea of, can't we just put all this on one platform where if I'm in software, if a tender for software comes about, I can just receive an email.
Yes.
And click a button to apply. The system already has all my information. It's the same information. I don't need to print out my business certificate like
every time.
Yeah. And then I can just customize a bit to fit the thing. So very elaborate in our minds.
Elegant,
Elegant.
hassle-free.
Hassle-free.
Uh-huh.
So it was so obvious that because we thought we were even customers, so in the sense of this war supplier, we built it before even talking to the people who normally.
I see.
list
Oh,
the
because you're
tenders.
building it for yourselves.
We're
I
building
think
it for
that's usually a very key lesson in building startups. Like if you can be your own customer, it's actually really good because you can move with speed.
Yes.
So that check.
Yes. Check.
So insight check. You're building for yourself. Check.
Yeah.
Total addressable market, really huge. All these guys doing tenders.
Yes. It's a global thing.
So you finished it, and then?
Then we realized, again, back to two-sided marketplace. For this thing to work, you need suppliers like Tesh or Missi in that case.
Okay.
And then you need the person who's listing the job opportunity. They need to be willing to list and see the advantages. So we thought we're going to shorten their time for evaluating.
Yeah.
It's not going to be hectic. They'll even find a bigger pool
of talented people and suppliers.
The system will help them vet. But we didn't realize that majority by law, government institutions, public institutions are the ones that are meant to float tenders. Private companies can just source.
I see.
So as much as we're building for both kinds of customers, the public institutions are going to be the ones who need it more because it's compulsory. However, there's a systemic flaw in our idea because these guys are paid to be out of office to evaluate tenders.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're paid, for example, to be in another city.
Exactly.
To sit in that interview or that opening and stuff.
Yes. So committee and all that.
Okay.
There's a lot of people employed to review the tender documents. It's whole procurement teams. So introducing software is literally also cutting jobs.
Yes.
So there was just other external factors that were making that solution not viable.
Yeah.
So when we went not to sell to all these guys, no one was willing to adopt it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they don't want the transparency for obvious reasons. So in the tendering process.
Wow.
So that failed, and we invested a lot of resources to build it.
Wow.
From our consulting projects, we're just pouring money into this startup, this idea.
Yes.
We're bootstrapped.
Yes.
We lost it.
And how did you figure out that this wasn't going to work out? Like, because also one thing we've noticed just being entrepreneurs and selling, especially here in Africa, actually in the world, like sometimes you receive many yeses which are no's, right? Like some people don't usually tell you no directly. So how did you know, like, okay, this probably isn't going to work?
Yeah, honestly, I think cash is king. Yeah, and that's one of the things, experiences. Anytime you have a customer who's giving you stories, let's talk next week, let's do this. I think when you do that whole sales process and somebody is not signing a check, they're not wiring money, then it remains a story. So I think that's what we realized. We're like, okay, Gek will tell you, let's meet in 2 weeks, in a month. You meet them again and again and again. But if they're not signing a contract and sending money, you don't have a business.
Yeah, that's so true. People will tell you, people are nice. They don't want to tell you the real truth. So there's so many like no's masquerading as yes. But the true yes is like signing on the dotted line.
Sign a check.
I see.
Yeah.
So you're saying the key learning in building this, what was that key learning that you got from this?
Yeah, is now I there's this quote that the techies will probably know, which is first time founders focus on product, second time founders focus on distribution. So I was a first time founder then. I was focused on building a nice, elegant product.
Hassle-free, everything, dashboard.
Now before we build anything, we go talk to customers, understand that they're willing to pay. In fact, even if you're able to collect some form of commitment.
LOIs, letters of interest,
contract,
etc.
Exactly. So distribute first and then
build. Oh my gosh.
That was the biggest takeaway.
Wow, that's powerful. So this is Tenderpreneur.
Yeah, so that was Tenderpreneur.
And then, so you build it, you have this sort of like closure that this is not going to work.
Yeah.
And then there's Cloud9, which you've mentioned.
Yes.
And I even saw in your bio, you said you're an adventure lover.
Yes.
So how did you go from building something for government and tenders
Yes.
to building Cloud9, which from what I've researched is for like more experiences? You can just walk us through that journey.
Yeah, so as you can tell, us guys were just trying. We're young.
Yes.
With very hot blood, just trying everything.
Yeah.
So the good thing is we try one thing. If it doesn't work, we try something else.
Yeah.
So I guess we're devastated from the whole experience of Tenderpreneur, because this was between 2015 and 2016.
Okay.
And in 2016, the same year, we launched Cloud9. Now, the second version of Cloud9, because remember the first Cloud9 had failed.
Yeah.
We just took the name.
Yeah.
For this second business idea.
I see. Okay.
But the aha moment came while going to vacation. So we were going to Diani. And we got to Diani, and then we were wondering, okay, now what do we do in Diani? So we started Googling, okay, what are things to do in Diani? You know, I'm sure you've done that.
Yes.
So that's when the aha moment came, is this information is so scattered about things to do in Diani. Could I find a platform where the same way I booked my hotel or I booked my flight, I could see things to do in Diani.
I see.
And I thought if we're experiencing this problem, probably many other people are experiencing the problem.
Okay.
In fact, we took now from the learnings, we didn't go and build a product.
Okay.
We decided to do it manually. So we created an Instagram page.
Okay.
It's still there. It's called, I think, Cloud9 Experiences today.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And when we sold the business, I think they've continued to do pretty well. So it's a nice booking platform for experiences. So that's an idea that took off.
Yeah.
But we started manually. So we created a WhatsApp group, Instagram page. We started posting experiences and asking people to book.
Okay.
So it was very manual. We'd curate like an experience to go to, for example, Curator Forest. I remember that's one we did. So a weekend of zip lining and all that stuff. And then we'd add our friends to this group, WhatsApp group, and then get yes, no, I'm not available.
I see.
We get like 10 people, they pay. And then now it was a process of turning this business that makes sense, that is generating revenue, into a product, into a tech product where people can now go book. And now you introduce even strangers to the experience.
I see.
And
I think that's really cool. Like you began with like people you began like literally just WhatsApp and Instagram and telling your friends about these things.
Yes.
Damn, and how was it received?
Really well. I think our friends ended up becoming a really big community. They started bringing their friends, and their friends started bringing their friends.
I see.
We served, by the time we sold the business, we'd served maybe 5,000-10,000 consumers.
Okay.
It was big.
That's huge.
Yeah, and we were getting bookings even from international people coming to Kenya. They would find us online and book. So the platform really worked well. We had experiences listed in the whole of East Africa. We started even listing experiences in South Africa.
Wow.
So
damn, this is really, really cool. And I this is also the time like Airbnb was taking off and stuff. So do you remember like ever thinking to yourself, man, this is actually could actually be like my Facebook or my Instagram, etc. Like this could be the big tech company I envisioned many years ago?